All right. Hello, everyone. This is Mrs.
Hi.
Mori,
Hi, and this is Mrs. Gegg.
and we are back to present another tool, well, actually two tools this time, from our toolbox.
Okay, so altogether we have 12 tools, and we're going to present the last two tools today. So let me go over a few tools that we have already learned. The breathing tool and the hand motion is like this, and we breathe in and we take 5 long, deep breaths and let those breaths out. The second is the quiet, safe place tool. I remember my quiet and safe place, and the hand gesture is like wearing headphones. It's a place where you feel like you have quiet and it feels safe and you like to be in that place. Our listening tool is cup your fingers around your ear, and it means that we listen. We listen with our senses, our ears, our eyes, and our hearts. So when we listen, we really attend to someone. Empathy tool is the hand gesture is this, sort of weighing how someone else feels. And this is where we care for ourselves and we care for others. So we try to understand how others feel, and that is taking care of them and taking care of ourselves. And then the personal space tool is a ball of yarn, and it's to sort of signify that we put this yarn and we have this space where we have a right to, we recognize that we have a right to have space. We don't always have to have people in our space. We can create a safe place, wherever that is, in our home or whenever we need that space.
Awesome. Love all those tools, Mrs. Gegg.
Thank you.
Our next tool that we've learned about previously is our using our words tool. And our picture here is going to be of a pencil. So we're going to hold up a pencil and act as if we're drawing. And this tool is great to use when we're trying to figure out what are the right words to use, not only using the right words, but how to use them in the right way and at the right time and for the right reason. So that might take some time to figure out, what are the right words that I should be using right now? Our next tool is the garbage can tool, one of our favorite tools. And this tool is I let the little things go. And our hand gesture is kind of making your trash can here, your garbage can. And you're just going to take those small things. These are little things that you can say, I don't want to carry that with me for the rest of the day. This is something that I want to put behind me and move on so I can have a positive day. Our next tool is the taking time tool, which we learned last time. So we're going to kind of act as if we're looking at our watch here and kind of just point, tap, to that watch. And that is kind of two parts, but it's taking time in and taking time away. So that can be if you're having a moment where you might be talking to a friend or a family member, you might realize that, hey, I might need to take some time away right now to take a step back and think about what I should say next or how I should react. Next, we have the please and thank you tool, which we also learned last week as well. This one is I treat others with kindness and appreciation. Pretty simple tool here, but I think it's great to also remember that sometimes we forget to say those two easy words, which are please and thank you, which are very important. Our next tool, we're just going to skip over this other one because we are learning these two today, but our next one is the patience tool. And this one is I am strong enough to wait. And for this tool, we're just going to put our hands together like this and kind of just go slowly back and forth. And this can remind us to be patient, and we all have the strength to wait. All right, and our two that we're learning today are, where one?
Apology and forgiveness.
Yes.
Okay. So our apology and forgiveness tool is the glue that helps us get along with others. And so our a bottle of glue is what we use to sort of picture apology and forgiveness. And our hand gesture is to put our hands together like we're gluing two pieces of paper. So the apology and forgiveness tool helps us with our relationships with others and our relationships with ourselves. A sincere apology opens the door to forgiveness. It takes inner strength to admit when we've made a mistake and to apologize for it.
Yeah.
So sometimes it's very hard for us to be honest with ourselves and really realize, wow, that seemed like someone else's mistake, but that was actually my mistake. So I need to apologize for that. And then I need to see if that person will accept my apology. So forgiveness takes equal strength as well. It requires letting go of anger. So when we let go of anger and apologize or forgive, we support our relationships with ourselves and with others.
Definitely agree. And I think, Mrs. Gegg, apology and forgiveness, this can be a difficult tool, especially when it's maybe something with a close friend or even a family member, to actually say that we forgive someone. And sometimes we can use that word, but not really truly understand what does it look like to truly forgive someone. And I love how you stated that it does take a lot of strength to actually forgive someone.
It does. It does take a lot of strength.
Oh, there we go. There's our picture.
There's the glue. And so that is our picture for apology and forgiveness.
Okay. So if your apology is not accepted, you can always try again in another way or at another time. So maybe that person might just say, hey, I'm not ready to forgive you right now, and they're not willing to accept that apology, and that's okay. You can just wait for another time. An apology needs to be sincere to be accepted, and you need to own up to your mistakes. I love that, because sincerity is very important, especially within apologizing to someone, because sometimes we can say it just because maybe your parents said, hey, you go ahead and go apologize. Your teacher or an adult might tell you to, and so you feel that you have to do it. But it's actually really different. It can be accepted in a different way from that person when it's actually something that you mean, and the person understands and knows that, wow, you actually meant that. And then they're able to truly forgive you. No excuses should be made when we give good and sincere apologies. I love that as well.
Mm-hmm.
And it's definitely okay, because we all make mistakes.
Yes.
And sometimes these mistakes do hurt others, and it's owning up to understand that, hey, I know that I did hurt your feelings, or I may have made a mistake, and I'm willing to apologize.
So I'm thinking of what an insincere apology might sound like. So an apology that doesn't actually apologize.
Yeah.
Would that sound something like, well, I'm really sorry if I hurt your feelings, but you are very sensitive. Does that feel like an apology, or maybe a further insult?
Yeah, I think that would probably hurt the person even more.
Yes. And so an apology means that we have actually accepted responsibility.
Mm-hmm.
We are actually going to use all of our strength to maybe feel a little vulnerable and really say we're sorry. So that might look like, oh my gosh, I am really sorry I said that. I didn't really realize that I was saying something that would hurt your feelings, and I am so, so sorry. Will you forgive me? I'll be more careful next time.
Great. And I think, Mrs. Gegg, another tool that is kind of making me think of this is our empathy tool as well, that we can use along with our apology and forgiveness, because the example that you used, we might still be really hurt from maybe what happened, even if it was our fault.
Yes.
If we were to go to someone and actually say something a little bit more insulting to them, and that is our fault because we're not in the moment yet. It's not a good moment maybe to actually go and apologize. We maybe should wait. And sometimes we might feel forced to go in that moment. But if we take a step back and we have some empathy to think, hey, how is this person really feeling? What I said, what if someone said that to me? How would that make me feel?
That sounds like we might need to use one of the other tools, like take some time away
Yes.
and reflect. So really And in this sense, reflecting means to really think, wow, I actually really do want to apologize to that person. I don't want to be snarky or
Mhm.
snotty or more hurtful. I really need to be careful here. So, what is
Yes.
it I really need to do? And taking that time away when we have something difficult to do, like giving an apology, is important.
Yes, I agree.
So, apology and forgiveness. An apology should make you and the person you're apologizing to feel better. And again, when we apologize, we're not coming from an angry place. We're coming from a place of self reflection where we realize we've hurt someone and we don't want to hurt someone. When we really own that and we apologize and someone accepts our apology,
Yeah.
we feel better. It helps our relationships with that person and it helps our relationships with ourselves. I know that when I've felt that I needed to apologize to someone and I've really thought about it and I apologized to them, which was kind of scary to do, that I felt a lot better and that actually helped my relationship
Mm-hmm.
with that person. I'm kind of thinking of one time in particular, I felt like I was more open to that person because I was no longer trying to maybe protect myself. I
Yeah.
was thinking, hey, I really need to apologize for this.
I love that.
So think of a time when someone gave you an apology. Did you forgive them? If you really forgive someone, you let go of anger. You feel better, and so do others. So if someone did something to hurt you and they really give you a sincere apology and you really sincerely accept that apology, you're not going to go around still feeling
Mm-hmm.
angry and thinking bad thoughts about that person and resenting them. You've really let that go. So this week, we'd like you to practice
Mm-hmm.
that. And believe me, something will come up in the week where you might need to give an apology because we all make mistakes. Um, think about how you're going to apologize and think about how it makes you feel and others feel when you apologize sincerely. So
I
you
love
can,
that.
yeah, you can feel good about yourself when you practice this tool.
Definitely. And I love the part that we can feel good, and especially we're making that other person feel good as well because they know that it's sincere.
Sometimes we think of an apology as something like where we're giving our power away, but actually it's really empowering to us because
Yes.
we are practicing empathy and being our best selves rather
Yes.
than that kind of, you know, cranky, mean-spirited self. We're really
Mm-hmm.
accepting ourselves and the mistakes we make and then wanting to help glue that relationship back together.
Excellent.
So what's our next tool, Mrs. Mori?
Okay, our next tool and our last tool is the courage tool. I
Mm.
really love this tool, and Mrs. Gegg found a really cool image of a lion here, if you guys can see here, which I think whenever sometimes we think of courage, we
Mhm.
think of a lion, which is awesome.
Yeah.
So before we go on to what courage is, just really quick, we want to show you guys in reference here on our screen to our image for our courage tool, which this is a work lamp. And if anyone has ever seen one of these before, it's very similar to just like a light bulb, as you guys see, and it kind of has this cage looking image here around it and a handle, as you guys can see as well. And the idea, which is really cool about courage, is that it's kind of like a light hidden within the darkness. And the
Mhm.
idea is that you can still shine within the darkness. And that's the idea of a light bulb and having that courage, is you have the courage and the strength and the inner strength, which I love about courage, to shine in the darkest places. And we'll talk more about what that looks like. So for our courage tool, my son's laying here, but you're going to go ahead and place your hand on your heart here. And you
Mhm.
kind of can just tell yourself internally and speak this to your mind and just say, be strong.
Be strong.
be strong, and just repeat that to yourself. And it takes a lot of inner strength to have courage. So showing courage means you act with your heart, which is why we have our hand gesture here. You do things that are really difficult, but they are the right things to do. So we might find ourselves in situations with our friends, our families, and some of our friends or families might tell us to do certain things that we might say, is that the right thing to do?
Not the right thing to do. I'm going to do the right thing.
Yeah, and that takes a lot of courage to stand up and speak up for yourself, to say, hey, I don't think that's right, or that's not something that I really want to do. And that does take courage. So an example here is doing homework when you don't want to takes courage. I think of right now doing the distance learning. It takes a lot of courage to wake up still very early and log in and making sure that you're doing your assignments, or if you have any paper homework at all, any packets that you're still working on. It does take courage to still say, hey mom, hey dad, or grandma, or grandpa, I'm still going to have the courage to wake up and still try my best, even though it might be hard, even though it's very tempting to watch that episode a little longer or turn the TV on. But I'm going to have the courage to say, hey, I'm going to take some time to actually listen and do my work today.
So, taking the easy way out, maybe like not showing courage.
And I think that's the hard part about having courage, Mrs. Gegg, is that it's not the easiest way. And our natural tendency is to want to do things that are more easier, which is normal. We want to we want to take the easy route. We want to go and follow and do things that are not as hard, because it requires more work from us.
Right.
So when we actually have to put in courage and actually say, I'm actually going to go this way, or I'm going to actually take time to do my work. And it might be a little frustrating, but I'm going to have the courage enough to sit through it and know that I can accomplish it and I can do it.
Yeah. I'm thinking of being in a group of friends and they all want to do something that we know is actually not the right thing to do, and standing up for yourself and saying, I'm not going to do that because it's not the right thing. That sounds really hard. Like that might take a lot of courage. Okay.
Definitely. So even acting with courage is empowering, and it gives us more choices, actually. So if we believe in ourselves when we act with courage.
Yes. So courage, sometimes when we think of a lion roaring really loudly, sometimes we think that courage is like some big action that we do. And this says that courage does not always roar. Sometimes courage is the quiet voice at the end of the day saying, I'll try this again tomorrow. And that might just be a really quiet thought process rather than a big roar, but that is showing courage, is to, be persistent. Like, okay, I got half of my work done today and it's getting late. Tomorrow I'm going to do all my work. Even though that's hard. So I didn't quite get there today, but tomorrow I am.
And I like how, Mrs. Gegg, you're using a great example of still giving yourself another chance.
Yes.
Because every day is a new, fresh start, and we still might wake up that day and still might not have the amount of courage that we want to, and that's okay. But it's still waking up every day and putting in that effort. And that's all it takes. So sometimes we can be hard on ourselves and say, oh gosh, I should have did that longer. I should have made the right choice. But it's okay. There's a new, fresh day tomorrow, and you can always start over, which is great to know.
Yeah. So think of a time, we've all been courageous, and sometimes we maybe didn't even name it as courage. But think of a time now, and in kind of what we're talking about, where you did something difficult, or maybe it wasn't the popular thing to do, but it was the right thing to do. Think of a time that you did something really difficult and look back, and can you see that you were acting courageously, that you were acting with courage? Think of a time or a situation where you need courage, maybe something that's coming up or that you anticipate where you might need courage. And, so sometimes we think, well, okay, where does courage come from? And it's about making choices. It comes from within ourselves. It's absolutely something that someone cannot give us courage.
Yes.
We actually have to give ourselves permission to be brave and
Mhm.
strong and to make hard decisions, knowing that when we do something that's hard and we're, successful, even if we're halfway successful or a
Mhm.
little bit, that we've shown courage.
Yes. Great. And this is a great tool to end off on today with our courage tool and all 12 of our tools, everyone. And you are so courageous for whoever stayed all the way to the end to watch this entire video. We're very thankful for all of our students who are taking the time to continue to learn and continue to have the opportunity to learn online and engage with all of our tools. So we're so thankful for our students. And Mrs. Gegg and I will still continue, even though we have
Yes.
finished with all 12 of our tools. Starting next week and the weeks coming forward, we're going to start doing recaps on all of our tools and going back and showing you guys our hand motions, going over different examples of our tools. So still look forward to receiving more videos from us.
Okay. Thank you for watching. It was really
Yes.
nice to think of talking with all of you.
It was great. Bye-bye, everyone.
Bye-bye.
All right.
Okay.